Hey everybody, welcome back to Existence Tarot. So I'm your tarot reader, Existence, aka Cody, if you remember me from Cody Tarot. Welcome back. So in today's reading, today's pick a card. If you don't know how those work, basically you pick one of these cards or crystals. The crystal associated with each card is on top of each card. Basically you pick one of these piles, then there's timestamps in the description box associated with each group, card, or stone. And then you will fast forward to your specific reading based on the question that's in the title of the video. Today's video, who will you marry and what are the first impressions of this person? So for example, this is the person who you're gonna meet and you're gonna go, oh, this is the first idea or impression you're gonna get of your future spouse. Now we all know spouses can change, people's personalities change, and throughout a marriage, definitely your partner's personality is gonna change, it's gonna shift. You guys are going to evolve as a couple, all sorts of stuff. But this is the first impression you are going to get of that spouse when you meet them, before you meet them, that sort of thing. This can also indicate or help you be aware if you have met someone already that's going to become a future spouse. So maybe you know someone in this future, this first impression really resonates with someone you already know. And you're already thinking maybe this person could be a spouse. That could be confirmation for some of you. For others of you, there could be a feeling of basically having someone in your life that you like their type of that kind of energy. And this is just confirmation. You're going to end up with someone like that type. For example, say you have a friend that you really love and you guys just click fully and completely. And it's one of those things where you're just like, if you were only the opposite sex, we would be so good together. That's kind of a confirmation that someone that you're going to meet is going to be very similar or like this person as far as first impressions go. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the groups one by one. The deck that I'm using to do these indicator cards, which we won't be using in the reading, is the Seaborn Kipper deck with divination cards. The art is by Silo Thompson. I love her art. I'm pretty sure it's a she. I think I watched it in like an interview with her about one of her other decks that she has. But yeah, this is a Kipper divination cards, which are a little bit different than tarot. But a fun deck nonetheless. Okay, so let me show you the cards one by one and the crystals one by one. And if you've already selected your crystal or you're planning on freezing the video and meditating before choosing your pile, you can do that now or at the end, right before I start the groups. And yeah, without further ado, let me show you the crystals one by one. Okay, so first crystal we have is Green Aventurine, and we have this High Honors card. So first of all, Green Aventurine is a stone about luck, gambling, and chance. It is a very lucky stone in general and can be really good at attracting immediate prosperity. There's been times I have literally picked up a piece of Green Aventurine and then within 15 minutes, someone just gave me like $25. Like it's just a crazy stone in that regard. It really attracts money, luck, and opportunity. It is also a stone of optimism. And then we also have the High Honors card here, which I'm going to let you guys interpret. But these are the two stone. This is the stone and card. If you want to choose this group, this will be your indicator for group one. Now, group two, we have this yellow piece of amber and this letter card. Amber is really great because it helps with depression and uplifts moods and stuff like that. I don't know if this is a property of amber, but I associate amber with recovery from surgery. I know that's a random intuitive message that I'm getting right now with amber, and maybe that's something that you relate to. But amber is a very strong stone of like lifting depression and lifting kind of depression after surgery or pregnancy, stuff like that is kind of how I associate it. But yeah, this is the yellow amber. It has this beautiful golden color to it, which you can also associate with sunshine, which kind of makes plants grow, which heals things. And with this letter card, there might be association with this letter card. I'm letting you guys interpret the card part. If letter means something to you, there's a starfish on that card. If starfish are your favorite, this might be an indicator for your pile. And we have a letter in a bottle, kind of romantic. Let's see, so that is the amber and the letter card. Next we have red jasper and a long way. This is really interesting. Red jasper is a stone of strength. And I always think of red jasper, I think of muscles and muscle recovery. I also think of courage and I think of endurance. It's funny this card says long way. My personal story with red jasper, we were driving from a very far away place. Well, far away for me, it was like 3.5 hours away. And as we were driving home, the last 45 minutes, I could not stand being in the car. I was like, I got to get out of here or do something other than be in this car. And then I remember picking up my red Jasper. It looks like my red Jasper is like the size of a tennis ball and it's rounded. But I picked up this red Jasper and instantly I got comfortable where I was sitting. My fatigue went away. My antsiness went away. I felt totally grounded in the car. So red Jasper is one of those crystals that can like ground you and stuff. In general, and it can kind of, the way I can feel it maybe is that maybe it even relaxed my muscles a little bit is kind of the way I would put it. But really red Jasper gives you this vibe of like patience, patience and comfortability in the fact that you just have to wait a little bit longer. It helps with those periods of life where you have that kind of endurance factor that you have to deal with. And it's funny, this card says long way. This is kind of the card and the crystal that kind of go hand in hand for the most part. So that's group 3 if you want to choose group 3. I know this is like one of the longest intros ever, guys. I'm sorry. I just felt like doing a long intro and getting really detailed with this one. Maybe people who are watching need it. Next, we have the Bahia Amethyst and we have Courthouse. Amethyst in general, really good at making you move through addictions, obsessions. It creates like a bubble of light around a person and it really has this sedative, relaxing effect. Almost like the way I would describe it is like some kind of medication that is supposed to get you off a certain substance that makes you kind of relaxed and chill so you don't even need the substance anymore. We also have Courthouse, which I'm going to let you guys interpret on your own. If this resonates for you, maybe you guys are lawyers, maybe you just had jury duty, whatever the case may be, Courthouse could be something significant. Or maybe say when it comes to a marriage, you're not planning a specific marriage, like as a wedding or something, and you just need the legal document signed and you actually don't want to make a big fuss about it. Courthouse might be your pile as well, who knows? I'm gonna let you determine Courthouse. And as far as the Bahia Amethyst, this one kind of reminds me of like a shark tooth, like a purple shark tooth. And I'm hearing go for your goals when I'm holding this Bahia Amethyst. If you guys are in a current state or you want a partner who is really assertive or go-getter, this might be the pile to pick. I'm not saying that's what's going to show up as your partner in your reading, but maybe if you have the idea that that is going to be a partner for you, that might be a good stone to pick with this Bahia Amethyst. And let's put the crystals and the cards down on the table. You can pause the video here if you need to, if you need more time to select your group. And without further ado, let's get into the group, starting with the green Aventurine and the High Honors card. Hello, group 1. This is if you picked this green Aventurine and this High Honors card. So let's get into your reading. I'm going to start off by pulling general archetypal energies. First, the first impression that this person's going to make on you. Second, what they're like in the marriage and what their real personality is like. And last, I'm going to pull some tarot cards and just to really tie in both images and the full picture and maybe talk about how you guys meet. We'll see what comes up in today's cards. So let's start with first impressions. I'm going to be rolling rune dice and using this character oracle for the first impressions. Apologize, the box is thrashed on this deck. Okay, so let's get a first impression. I feel like doing a hard shuffle here. Hopefully you guys are well. If you ever see me shuffling the cards, you can always skip ahead to when the cards are laid out. If there's any time in between when the cards are laid out, that's usually the time I'm doing the reading. Let's see here. The card that wants to come out for you guys today is Blacksmith. Let's put that right up here. And I also want to pull, I want to roll the Astro dice, or not Astro dice, these are my rune dice. I made these when I was in high school. These are actually 20 years old. I made these 20 years ago out of clay and random acrylic paint. Okay, so let's roll these. We have these rune dice. Some of them I don't remember the actual, I don't remember the names of some of them, but we are going to be using them today, and I do know what they mean. I've just been lost track of like certain things in my memory for some reason. Okay, so let's get into it. First thing that's coming through, this person's going to feel like a provider. They're going to feel like someone who's going to be there and provide. This person is also someone who is okay with getting even. They don't mind. They don't mind kind of making sure everything's fair and that people get what they deserve. And I know that sounds a little rough around the edges, the way that is stated, but that is just coming through that this person is very fair and doesn't mind distributing justice to basically being a fair person. You know, this person might say things in conversation upon first impression, like, well, that's not fair. You shouldn't have to deal with that. Or, man, they should really get what they deserve. Or, like, they didn't get punished for that. Stuff like that. This person has those kind of attributes to them. And with need here, they're really focused on other people's needs and things that other people need from them, right? When you first impression this person on your first date, I'm seeing this person, for example, offering you, like, their coat. You know, like, hey, are you cold? Do you want a coat? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you need to eat? What do you want to do? Stuff like that. This person's going to ask you a lot of questions initially. I don't know if they're like this long term, but initially they're very focused on your needs. They're very focused on what you want. Are you okay? Are you like well fed? Are you hungry? Are you cold? Are you thirsty? Do you need intimacy? What are the things you need physically, romantically, emotionally? This person wants to take care of all the needs in the connection. I also feel like this person with blacksmith here gives the impression of wanting to take a hands-on relationship or hands-on experience in the relationship. For example, or they want to shape the relationship, so to speak, but they want to do it collaboratively, is what I'm hearing. This is the type of person who says, yeah, in my last relationship, no, they didn't want to discuss the issues or the things that came up in between us and arguments and stuff like that. And not necessarily arguments is what I'm hearing, because this person's pretty peaceful and knows what they're doing when they talk and they communicate. But this person does like communication. They are very well spoken. They have a really good vocabulary. They have a way with language in general. I also think this person, honestly, this person feels kind of religious. I don't think it's detrimental to the connection. It's just that they kind of appear like they would be a certain type of religion. And I'm even getting the vibe that this could be a religion that maybe you guys have not dealt well with in the past or something like that. I'm hearing it's not their main defining feature. And even if they are somewhat religious or they do believe in a higher power in a way that you guys don't necessarily agree with, it will be hospitable in the long run. And that's something to bring up right now. So you guys, it's not, you're not going to like pass this person by. This is one of my readings where it's like very fatalistic. And if it resonates, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't, it's just, you can pass this reading by, you know? But I'm hearing you guys are the types that you might like be like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know about this religious thing that this person has. I mean, we're going to find out more about the integration in the marriage over here with their personality. But the main thing that I'm seeing here is that this person is at least spiritual. They at least believe in a higher power. They're not a complete atheistic type of person. They have that wherewithal for belief inside them. And I think that's something that is the reason why you are being shown this upon first meeting, or why the universe is showing you this person upon first meeting, because they're trying to show you that this person does have that ability to tap into spiritual energy. Now, like I said about the hands-on aspect in the relationship, let me see if I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm going to take a second to think this through, what I'm about to say, because I want to make sure I get this right. This person's definitely not afraid of the heat of arguments. And I did bring that up earlier with arguments here. This person's not afraid to deal with the issues in a connection. They're okay with fighting periodically in a connection. They're okay with having the heat rise up a little bit in a connection. This person might have some kind of Aries placements when it comes to love. And it's not like this person's constantly fighting all the time. It's just that when things need to get settled, they are not afraid of confrontation. And they also want to make sure when it comes to that needs card and the language and all that kind of stuff in the fairness aspect, that everything is fair in every single argument. This is not the type of person that's going to really shaft you in any kind of decision. They're going to make sure you get everything you need. They're going to make sure everything is fair between both of you and everything is balanced. This is the type of person that in a relationship likes to distribute duties equally. and very much so likes the focus of teamwork on these equal duties. If you guys have been in relationships in the past, I don't think, and remember, this is still first impression territory, and I know I'm going pretty deep into first impression territory, but that's kind of what's coming through, and I feel like there's a big conversation with Ingwaz here, the rune Ingwaz. There's a big conversational component here. I really feel like this person likes to get it all out on the table. They like to discuss what their needs are in a connection. They like to discuss and ask about the other person's needs in a connection. This person doesn't beat around the bush. This person has had some experiences in love that were pretty disappointing. And I think they talk about those relatively easily when they first engage with people. Now, this person does have a very hands-on kind of love and affection style, especially upon first meeting. I don't know if they're like this long term, but upon first meeting, they're like this. And I'm hearing for some of you, it might seem over the top in a way, because I feel like you guys in the past, the message I'm getting is that you guys have had partners in the past that were very avoidant or hands-off in a relationship. These partners grew distant, is what I'm hearing, over time, and turned away from you over time and stopped paying attention to you. And I'm hearing you guys have a specific level of need for affection that you don't often receive in your romantic relationships from men. And I'm hearing most of you are women watching this, and this is specifically other men that don't attend to your needs. For some of you, I have some gay viewers out there, and you guys are being told that this is also someone who is going to attend to your needs pretty regularly as well. They're not going to be kind of distant, or what I'm hearing is lackluster in the romance department. This is someone who does like to satisfy. Let's see, I think we can move on more so to how they are in the marriage, and then I'm going to pull some tarot cards. So I'm actually pulling this deck out in a long time. So this is the Animal Spirit by Colette Baron Reed. I have not used this deck in forever, and I'm really excited to use it again. I miss it. I used to use it a lot in my older readings. For those of you who've been on my channel for a while, you'll remember this one. So let's get a card from the Animal Spirit Oracle for group 1 and what their spouse will be like and settle into in the long run. Okay, we have this card that wants to come out. We have Rabbit Spirit. Now is a lucky time. I'm gonna pull these up to, let's see if that's probably better. I'm having issues right now in the beginning of the reading, organizing the cards, organizing the dice. As you guys know, I'm very OCD. I like everything to look super symmetrical and stuff on the camera. And sometimes when it's not, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe that. This person and you might have a period of time of adjustment where you're trying to figure out where the right fit is in your connection. I feel like there's a really intense passion here, especially with that forge in the blacksmith card. It's like a really intense passion that there's this feeling of really wanting to make things work and really focused on the needs of the other one. This is not the type of person who is going to blow off some random feeling you have. They are really going to want to focus in why you have that need. Not even why, it's not even a question of if you have that need. It's okay, you have that need. We don't have to question it. We don't have to guess around it. We just want it fulfilled. And so this person's going to try to get it fulfilled. This is not the person who out rationalizes you and says like, well, now, don't you think it's irrational to have that need? And now that you see that it's irrational, like maybe you don't need it anymore. That's not this type of partner. That's kind of more your past situations with some of the avoidant types you were dealing with. This person just goes, oh, like you're jealous, or oh, you're hungry, or oh, you want more affection, or oh, you need a date night on Wednesday, let's make it happen. This person is very, very hands-on and very, I'm not getting that they're super romantic, but they want to make things work. And that's the important part, right? They're willing to put in the work. And they're not going to shy away from fights. I want to bring that up again. I know it keeps coming up, and I don't know why maybe I have to explain it differently again or something. But these periods, just like a blacksmith forges these beautiful metal objects, whether it's weapons or whatever, through fire and through a forge and through this thing, they actually are very good at making things work for both parties in arguments. You do not have to fear getting angry around this person. You do not have to fear your temper or your rage tearing apart the connection, because this person thrives in those moments. They thrive in the heat of discussion. They thrive in the heat of balancing out the scales. This person is giving, in some regards, this person is giving kind of like an ENTP vibe in some situations. This person also is giving me, I don't know. This is so, some of these examples are kind of raw, and I apologize, they're kind of raw, and I know a lot of people would not like this level of conflict. I'm not saying your relationship's gonna have conflict all the time. It's just that when it does, I'm hearing it solves a lot of problems. It's not like the conflict's wasted. It's not like having a fight and being like, well, we keep having the same fight over and over again. No, when you have a fight, when there's the heat of passion, things get settled, things get made, things get created that are made of metal. They're long, they're enduring, they're lasting. Because of this fiery heat, right? Your relationship will create tools that you can work with again and again that will keep your marriage together longer than any of your friends or relatives, And that's not always the case with fiery, explosive arguments. It's not even explosive arguments. It's just arguing, fighting, discussing things that are uncomfortable. That's where this person shines. They create gold out of those situations. I'm hearing you may have had situations in the past where you maybe are trying to avoid those situations because nothing happened from that. People just thought you were mad at them or got upset or something like that, and they walked away or they got distant. This person creates things from that fire. That's what the blacksmith card represents. Anyway, moving on. Okay, what are they like in long term? Rabbit spirit, now is a lucky time. Let's roll the astro dice here. We have the 10th house, we have Taurus, and we have the North Node. This person sure loves their pleasures. This person loves their pleasures. This doesn't look right. Yeah. Sorry, I probably should just get to the reading instead of like doing all this. Yeah, this person loves their pleasures. This person loves indulging. This person's also very earthy in general. This person doesn't have too much of an intuitive side, and if they do, it's grounded in reality. It's based on facts. It's based on their experience in life. I'm also hearing the North Node means this. What can I say? I want to say connection. I want to say this marriage grows over time into a Taurian kind of vibe. Now, I was gonna say comfort and indulgence and pleasure seeking, but I lost all my words when I was about to say that. And I'm taking that as a sign that this is a different way that Taurian energy is gonna manifest. It might manifest in wealth, abundance, financial luxury. And maybe pleasure comes with that, but I'm hearing the main thing that you're getting in this connection through someone's career. Someone has a really high paying career or high paying job with the 10th house here. This could also be possible that someone in this connection is famous, whether it's you or this person. There's an element of fame to this relationship. I'm also hearing in the marriage, there could be a vibe of you guys could be a public couple. Yeah, I don't know why I keep rearranging these things. There's something about settling in this connection. Like there's some vibe of like wanting to settle in and wanting to create the perfect amount of, I feel like you guys are going to like rearrange things a lot, maybe like the furniture or whatever the case may be. There's a feeling of needing to rearrange things, move things around, make things perfect or something like that. Anyway, high honors for sure. You guys are reaching the stars together. The long-term connection of this like I said, this is forged in fire and it's enduring for life. It's never going to break apart. This is the kind of long-lasting marriage that you can rely on time and time again. And especially if you start dating this person, and as you start dating them, because I know we talked about first impression of what like the first conversation is going to be, but this is also considered like the first couple of dates, the first fight that you guys have. Like, here's the thing. If they get more connected and more focused on needs in the middle of a fight, or after a fight, they come to you and say, hey, I think we should do this and this and this because of our fight, and have a solution instead of just retreating and being avoidant and like waiting for you guys to apologize, right? This person is definitely the one to step forward first and say, hey, they don't necessarily apologize for the fight. They don't apologize for the fight because they think it's totally normal and it's worth it for what it produces for them. They're going to say, hey, I have a solution. How about we do this and this and this? And it's going to be a good solution. I guarantee you guys it's going to be a good solution. I don't know. I think the first time they bring to you a solution after a fight, you are definitely going to be surprised, shocked, and in awe of what they decide. I think you wouldn't have been able to decide something that good, that when it comes to solutions for fights. Anyway, back to the rabbit spirit. Now is a lucky time. As you progress with the North Node, Taurus, in the 10th house, you guys will continue to be luckier and luckier and luckier. You will seriously, like in this life with such a serendipitous amount of wealth and abundance. And I'm hearing leaps and bounds with the rabbit spirit here. I'm hearing it'll go in giant leaps. And especially with Taurus here mixed with the rabbit spirit, there's a strong vibe of like, maybe for like 5 years going along with the same kind of wealth. And then within 1 year's time, leaping bounds in your wealth. This feels like someone gets a promotion and just gets a huge raise, or someone gets a windfall or gets an inheritance and there's a huge amount of money that comes in. I'm also seeing that it is going to go in periods of about 5 years to 1 year, something like that. Overall, though, I will say at the end of life, you guys will be very well known. So expect that. Expect the fact that you guys are going to be very well known as a couple in the future. It's not just a hidden kind of connection, under the radar kind of connection. There is something about, I don't know, I want to say a lot of fame and a lot of reputation that you guys have in your relationship. You might even be known for your relationship and how you guys deal with problems. I don't know. That could be something that is in the connection as well. Now, the 10th house does pull away from home and family. We'll have to pull other cards, and if I see stuff about children, I'll mention it. With the rabbit spirit here, this does talk about fertility. It does talk about sex. It does talk about romance in that regard. That's going to be really off the chain for both of you, definitely. But because we have the 10th house, this kind of connection feels more public facing than nurturing and growing. It's like you two are the children that are growing, not necessarily your children. So even if you have children, I think that your children are going to be not distant from you. That's not the right word. It's just that they kind of are very independent themselves. And yeah, even if you have children, you just want to be careful they're not like living under your shadow, right? Because I see that you and your partner are going to be very, very successful. So just keep that in mind, have that awareness, because North Node in 10th house and Taurus, it's your destiny to make money and be really well known. Maybe not for your money, but having your money as a side effect of what you do as far as how well known you are. And with North Node, this is your destiny. This is something that you are meant to do. To give you a little bit of an example of something very North Nodal in my own chart, I've been playing around with some astrology stuff. I won't bore you with the details because it's kind of intricate, and it's a system I invented myself. But basically when the North Node hits my position that my sun was in when I was born, so basically 1 degree of Cancer, that's essentially, that date was when I started this YouTube channel for tarot. And so basically what this means for a North Node period is I will most likely have this channel for about 18 and a half years. And then maybe something else takes up the space or something like that. But whatever the case may be, that's when this channel started. And I haven't done enough research into previous periods for certain things like the North Node and stuff in that research that I'm doing. But basically, North Node is something that can be related to career. It can be related to passion. It can be related, in my mind, to something that makes you famous, at least from my recent studies with it. And I do think it's your destiny to be in the limelight. I'm not saying my YouTube channel is going to be in the limelight or anything like that. It kind of is a little bit, but like this feels much bigger than my quote unquote 10,000 subscribers I have right now, right? This feels like higher. This feels like either like 100,000 or 300,000 or something like that. If you're relating it to YouTube, this could be something entirely different. Maybe not even on social media. This could be your husband's or wife's position in a company. This could be your position in a company and being well known for that, something like that. Maybe you guys have a very public facing image or something like that, or you just have a really solid reputation, really well known for your marriage and how you guys operate in the world. So that's a little more about some of the married life here. I'm not really seeing a super change in this person's personality. I think over time they get more gentle. I think at first when you first meet them and first impressions dating them, they have kind of like a tough exterior or like a tougher personality. Like they have this kind of like endurance at all costs. And then later they kind of soften up and kind of get, what's it called, like impatient. And I think that there's a few times that your role in the connection will be to tell them to slow down. And I'm like, okay, I know, I probably should slow down. I probably should go back to our baseline of this Taurian fixed kind of slow and steady wins the race energy. And it's kind of like a cute thing. Like, you know, I think in public, there's a conversation that gets had around other couples where it's like, she's always holding me back. And so, you know, stuff like that. Like this guy feels very I don't know, like I feel like he's okay with it, you know. This person I'm seeing, they're like okay with being held back, but then at the same time they're like, you know, I don't know, the phrase this old ball and chain is coming through, but there's a lot of love here. There's a lot of love. I don't think there's any real resentment on this person's end towards you. I think there's just complete devotion. Honestly, like I haven't seen a person in a reading. I mean, I've maybe had like 3 or 4 readings in the past that were about crushes or future spouses or whatnot, where there was this level of devotion, but this is definitely top 5 readings level of devotion from a partner. So especially if you guys have had avoidant relationships in the past, or you've had avoidant flings, sometimes with connections and relationships, we can swing like a pendulum from one to the other. And some people never find that middle ground. I'm hearing this is the middle ground for you. You are very far on one side of the devotion spectrum, or what you expect as far as devotion from a partner, and they provide that. Okay, let's get some tarot cards out on the table. I think I'm gonna pull 1, 2, 3. I'm not really sure I'm gonna interpret these. This might be like how you meet or significant challenges in the connection. We talked about who they are, first impressions, who they are together, a little bit about married life. Let's get a little bit about other stuff. I'm gonna pull these intuitively. Honestly, guys, I don't know what I said in the intro, but I'm gonna pull these intuitively. So we have the Lovers reversed. We have the Hierophant upright. And let's get one more. And we have, the 10 of Swords. Wow. Okay, sorry. Not a big deal. My friend gave me this piece of amber and it's sitting right here and it feels so out of place. And I feel like now that I picked it up, the whole table feels lighter. This is a friend I'm not hanging out with right now. Not that I don't like him or anything. He's a good person. Error just turned off for confirmation. But I feel like I need to set this aside just because I am kind of dealing with that friend and I am not hanging out with him right now. And I do feel like setting this aside for now. And I feel like it clears up a lot. And with 10 of Swords here, this usually stands for like disposing a king off their perch. Disposing of kind of like a leader or a political leader, because you have all these swords or arrows in this case pointing at this person and them feeling like, you know, it's like taking down the head honcho, right? That's kind of the vibe here with that card. I'm going to get more into it in a little bit. I just want to like bring that up because it was right by the amber. I wanted to bring that up for you guys. And yeah, let's get into it. Let me look at this for a second, guys. I'm going to have to look for this one because there's a few different messages first that are popping up, but I want more messages. That's why I have to look deeper. Wow. Okay, so I do want to point out right away, this person, when you first meet them with the Lovers reversed here, they are going to want a lot of physical intimacy. This is going to be just physical intimacy. It could be sex, building up to sex, whatever the case may be. They're going to be craving that. They're not going to push it. That's why the lovers is in reverse. They might mention it here or there, or make a joke or something, but they're never going to push it. This is the type of person who's super respectful. With the lover's energy here, though, here's the thing. They are thinking about it a lot when they are with you. They want it a lot when they are starting to get to know you. They are craving it a lot when they're starting to get to know you. I think also when the lovers here is in reverse, whenever you tell them or reveal a part of yourself to this person, I don't know if you guys are the mysterious types. I'm kind of getting that vibe with the lovers in reverse, that maybe you guys are a little more mysterious, or you've had to learn to be mysterious, something like that. But with the lovers card here, I feel like there's this vibe of, how do I put this? When you reveal something of yourself and you decide to bring the relationship closer together with this person, that inspires them to feel sexually activated around you, right? Especially, this is the kind of vibe that, like, because usually when you're angry, like going back to the argument part of this reading, when you're having a heated debate with someone, or you're having a fight with someone, you're trying to get to the bottom of different needs that are being unmet and stuff like that, there is this vibe of revealing parts of yourself or revealing feelings that you haven't revealed for a while, right? And sometimes that can be stuff that's, whether it's hurtful, whether it's just stuff that needs to come out of the proverbial mental closet, right? Whatever the case may be, this fires your partner up. They're at one hand ready to deal with this, to negotiate and be the diplomat in this situation. On the other hand, with the lovers reverse here, they're ready to get down and funky. Like, okay, funky's probably a bad word. That's just what came to mind. I don't know if like disco is relevant to you guys in some way, shape, or form, but there is something about what did my friend say about disco? Now that I'm thinking about it, he said that's when everyone was having sex. That's when everyone had sex with each other. I think in like the disco era, there was a lot more people were sexually active at that time. Point being is there's this vibe of like when you guys are getting into this combative thing where you're building your relationship and this person's trying to figure out conflict resolution. Point being, they just want a little bit of sex. They want sex then. They would love sex then. They would love, it to end in a passionate kind of connection. Play fighting, discussing needs, sharing what's on your mind, all that kind of stuff fires them up. That's enough said there. Okay. With the Hierophant here, you guys are going to develop a psychic connection the further time goes on, especially because this is right below the high honors. And I normally don't read the indicator cards in my readings. I just let them be there for people to choose. But with the Hierophant here, strong vibes of a mental connection, a psychic connection, so to speak. I'm hearing you're both in tune with the other one's instincts, their animal instincts, which means when the other one's acting unconsciously, behaving without thinking about what they're doing or saying, the other one knows exactly why they're doing that. And it's not like why they're doing it, it's just they know when it's going to happen, right? So for example, say your partner has a bad habit of buying junk food when they're upset or something like that. And this is a really instinctual, impulsive reaction. Like you're going to know before they get home that day, it's like, they're going to buy junk food. I could tell in the voice on their phone, they're buying some junk food. They're going to eat it when they get home, something like that. Last, with the Ten of Swords, this is coming through as endurance. I normally don't get this card this way as endurance, but this is coming through as strength and endurance. And it makes a lot of sense to me because that friend that I was telling you about that gave me the amber, he has had a very rough life, but he has the ability to take it all without any kind of difficulty scratching the surface. Or like, I don't know, he doesn't hold resentments inside is what it seems like. This friend that I have is very carefree on the outside. And the way I read him is just that even though he's had the hardest life that anyone's probably ever had to go through, at least that's what it seems like to me. Like all his struggles, I would have never been able to deal with them. Like I have my own personal demons. Everyone does, right? But his, I was like, dang, I don't know how you're so happy. I don't know how you're so happy, or like at least presenting happy. What I'm seeing with this is there is a sense of endurance to both of you, even though there is this aspect of getting into debates or conversations about needs and needs being unmet and then figuring out what needs need to be met. With Ten of Swords here, all of these arrows, look at him. He's still alive. He's awake. His eyes are open. Very different than a typical Ten of Swords where the guy's lying on the ground dead, right? This means that no matter how many arrows, unlimited 10, the most max number in tarot, arrows that are shot at you, shot at this person, shot at this relationship, you will endure. You guys have the most enduring relationship I have ever seen when it comes to future spouse readings and future spouses in general. If you're wanting something long-term, dedication is the factor here. This is a very extremely dedicated connection. I think I'm going to end your guys' reading here. Thank you again so much for letting me read for you. If you like this reading, you can like or comment below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more readings like this. And I also offer personal readings if you're curious about one of those. If you have a question on your mind or a few questions on your mind, there's different options on there. Link to that is in the description box. Thank you guys again so much for letting me read for you. It was an honor. It was a high honor to read for you today. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey, group 2. This is if you chose the yellow, amber, and the letter card. So let's get into your reading. First, I would like to draw a character oracle card. The deck is here, don't mind it. It's been like destroyed. It looks like a rat ate that. Anyway, the character oracle card. Here is the card we're gonna get for your future spouse. Okay, so let's see. What does Group 1, so basically first impression is going to be here. Your actual future spouse, kind of like how you get to know them and kind of what kind of personality they kind of settle into. Their main characteristics are going to be over here. A little bit with married life and some extra cards at the end. So let's get the first impression first. First impression of the future spouse. What are they going to come across as for Group 2? And we have reader. Okay, we have reader here. Now I'm going to also roll some rune dice to get some general stuff about their first impression of them as well. Let's see, we have Kenaz, Jera, Burkano, and Dagaz. So these are all of your runes that I'll be reading today with your card. Okay, let me take a look at this, guys, and we will get into your reading. Wow, this person is super creative. They're super creative, but they have a very independent, introspective. They like information though. This person definitely likes information. I feel like this person, on one hand, is voracious in their search for knowledge. This is like the appearance of them. With reader here, this person looks like someone you would find like in a library studying for a test. That's kind of like the main first impression of this person. They look like someone who is very engrossed in what they're doing at any given time. This is the type of person who understands the long game. They understand cycles. With Jera here, they could look a little more plain, a little more, you know, like if I was going to use medieval descriptions to describe this person, they'd be like the common folk or like a farmer or something like that. This person doesn't dress in a super fancy way. They possibly dress a little bohemian. Like the vibe I'm getting is someone who dresses either in like very neutral clothes, but like clothes that have like the shape of them is very flowy. I'm kind of getting the vibe of someone who is like, I'm seeing a few people. So first I saw a woman. I'm just going to go with like the visions I'm getting in my mind, guys, because I'm hearing those are important for this reading. I saw a woman with, oh man, I wish I knew fashion better because I would know what these clothes are. It's like a flowy shawl kind of thing, like a jacket shawl that this woman is wearing. And it's like a neutral gray and she has like a white top underneath and she's wearing like jeans, like classic blue jeans, something like that. Very neutral clothing, but like elegant and sophisticated in the sense that like it's I feel like this person, their clothes fit well on them. This is not someone who wears like shirts too big or shirts too small or anything like that. This person, their clothes fit really, really well on them. But they're very, how do I put this, like neutral in a sense. They don't wear like flashy or garish clothing. Everything is well put together when it comes to their clothes, and they wear a lot of neutral kind of clothing. If there's a guy, I'm getting an image of a guy, and I'm seeing the men wear slightly more flashy clothes than the women do in this group. As far as a first impression goes, I'm seeing a brown, blue, diamond pattern cardigan for a man here. There's something about wearing a cardigan or some kind of sweater. I'm also seeing like college sweater. Like this person looks like they're in education or they're in the middle of going to school somewhere. I'm hearing this person periodically when you first start dating them, there will be times when they will, especially if it's a man, they'll have to wear a specific suit, like to work or something like that. I'm getting for 5 to 10% of you, this person's like a college professor. And for whatever reason, my visionary abilities when it comes to this reading are off the charts. I'm seeing images of persons. If I could just draw the person out for you, I would. But I'm getting specific images. For my male viewers who are looking for a female companion, I'm seeing a woman with brunette hair who possibly ties her hair up periodically, or has like half of it tied up, half of it laid down. For my females, I'm seeing a guy who wears glasses. And also for my female viewers, the guy I'm imagining, very, very attractive guy. I'm seeing kind of tallish, slender, like 6'1", 6'2". I don't know why visual is so coming through for you guys. There's something about the vision of this person that I'm not necessarily getting. I'm picking it up from the runes in the card, but I'm getting this vision of this person. They have like a sophistication to them. The women that I'm picking up, that the people who are searching for a woman, your future spouse is a woman, the women have like a comfortability about them, and a sense of like down to earth kind of vibes. And then the men for the group, all my women watching, the men have kind of like a kind of airy kind of features. Like I'm seeing kind of like this person is giving like very model-like features for whatever reason. Like this person is, but I don't think this person wears their beauty in an extravagant way. That's the best way to put it. They have, what is the vibe with this outfit? It's like, they're well put together. Everything fits really nicely. They're not overly formal, although sometimes they have to be formal periodically for whatever like job or whatever thing they have to do. That I'm getting you guys see them in formal attire periodically. But there's something about their clothes fitting really well. Like there's something about either like their shirts not having wrinkles or always being ironed. God, this person is very opposite of my energy. My energy is like just throw on an old rag shirt and just like do the reading, you know? But this person definitely like looks good in all their clothes. I don't even know if they try to be like this. They just look like this. This person, in the best way I can put it, is they look comfortable and they look professional, and they also are very like introspective. I think whenever you see them, they're really going to be engrossed in something. That's going to be your first impression of them. They're either on their phone and like doing something, or they're typing on a laptop and doing something. I'm actually seeing them reading a newspaper. For very select few of you, it'll be a magazine, but there's something about reading a newspaper or typing on a computer or reading a book in a library, something like that. A lot of you that are in education or in a school system, you're going to meet this person in school. You're going to meet this person in like a study hall or a place where people are studying together, something like that. I'm hearing there are noisy people in the environment, and this person's focus does not break. Like this person has an ability to hold focus on a specific subject, thing they're researching, whatever the case may be. This person also has a lot of bright ideas. I also think this person's very intelligent with the Kenna symbol here and the Daga symbol over here. This person has an enlightening way of being. I actually think this person is very intuitive, although they don't think they are. God, how do I describe this type of intuition? This person comes across as someone you'd be talking to, and then they might ask you a question, and it could be something directly related to whatever you're thinking about at that current period of time. Like, the way they solicit information from you in conversation is very pinpointing the issue. This person is kind of inspective in that way. Like, they can kind of pinpoint the direct issue going on at any given time in a conversation, and they don't worry, or they don't think they're doing it. They don't think they're doing anything. This person doesn't know that they're digging in deeply into what you're going through, but they do have that way of asking very penetrative questions. I also think this person is very focused on the seasons and life periods. That means this person is very focused on times to do things. So this person feels regulated in a way. Like, at nighttime they sleep, in the daytime they're awake. In the morning they eat breakfast food, in the evening they eat dinner food. This person always, whatever the case may be, if they feel like they want to start their day with exercise, they always exercise in the morning. This person probably has a pretty solid schedule as far as like what they want to do and when they want to do it. And in that way, they're kind of routinized. But with the Birkenau energy here, this person also has, I want to say they have a sense of fertility about them, but I don't know if that makes sense. They're really good at coming up with new ideas, is what I'm hearing. They have a brilliant way of like intellectualizing a process and coming up with a new idea based on intellectualizing that said process for whatever that idea is going to be, right? This person learns and understands a lot, and they read a lot, and so they know a lot about life and the reality around them because of this vibe. And remember, this is just a first impression. Mainly I was getting appearance stuff for you guys for this person. I got a lot of visual images of this person. There's a lot about this person either being in a library or at a school situation. I'm getting coffee shop for some of you now, that you might see this person periodically at a coffee shop. I hear like you could approach them either at the coffee shop or the study hall, something like that. It feels like you're approaching this person. It's interesting. I feel like if you are searching for a man, I feel like my female viewers are going to approach this person. And then for my men watching this, I feel like the female is going to approach my men who are watching this reading. I feel like the feminine energy is a little more brave than the masculine energy that I'm reading for as far as your guys' future spouse. I'm not getting much more for the first impression of them, except that they look, for my male people watching, the female looks like fertile, I guess you could say. That's such a weird word to use, but that's the word coming through with Birkenau. This person looks like they have a lot of good ideas that they're thinking about at any given time. Like, I think your guys' first impression, if you were to judge them by the way they look or by the way they are appearing, it's like, wow, this person probably has a lot of good ideas. They're probably really intuitive. Knowledge is coming through. If I was just going to read the runes and the card here without any visuals, or if I was going to focus, really narrow it down on just what I'm seeing in the divination dice without any interpretation or any extrapolation, I would say someone who thinks of good ideas, loves being enlightened by the stuff they read, very good at coming up with creative concepts and projects, is okay with things taking time, knowing there's a right time to do everything, and being in sync with cycles of nature, whether that's the hours of the day, whether that's the seasons of the year, whether that is the process in an education system like school, like knowing that this is the time to learn and study and later will be the time to work, or this is the time to play and have fun and later will be the time to study. Whatever the case may be, they're synced into those timed rhythms of life, the natural flow of rhythms of life. That's what I'm seeing for the first impression. And let's get into how they are when it comes to not just first impression, but how are they when you marry them? How is this person when you marry them? First impression compared to the first group seems kind of cold. And not that this person is cold, it's just that I don't think there's a lot of time with this person spent with this person as you're courting with them. It almost feels like you guys are dating, but there's not really a strong sense of who the other person is right away. It's like I don't know how to explain this. It's like you're dating and you're comfortable, but it's like their true self doesn't come out right away, or there's a feeling of maybe observing this person for a while from afar. I also think maybe there's a feeling of friendship here when you first meet this person, that maybe you and this person are more like study partners or creative collaborators, whether that's on a school project or some kind of creative project. I'm hearing there's creativity and ideas in the connection, and that's one of the reasons why you get along with this person, is that their creativity blends very well with your creativity. I'm hearing they're very refining. They focus on the details, and they also have great ideas as well. Okay, let's get a card for one last shuffle. Feeling it. Married life. Antelope spirit. Life is speeding up. And let's get these astro dice on the table. We have South Node. We have 10th house. Last group got 10th house too. And we have Leo. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so real quickly, this person's energy, first of all, with Leo here, as time goes on, how do I put this? They have a performer side to them. They definitely like the limelight. And I know this is so counterintuitive to the type of person I described. In moments of privacy, they are an extrovert. Like, they are showy, they are singing, they are dancing, they are being goofy, they are a fun time. This person really likes to let loose, and they're very theatrical. I wouldn't be surprised if this person likes musicals, has a certain affinity for very like flashy art is coming through. With 10th house here, there is something about success with both of you coming through here. 10th house is like power couple vibes. It like same kind of vibe that the last reading got, honestly. You can watch that last reading if you just want to hear about this 10th house part, because it's probably going to affect you guys too. You guys have this kind of, also, I keep getting visuals with this person, visuals of their home environment. Also, like, Leo is represented as their home environment. They have a flashy, like, they have beautiful art on their walls. They have like a very modern, sleek design in their house, but also with a creative, colorful flair, but everything's like clean and put together at the same time. With 10th house here, this is also interesting with the past energy here. I think this person comes from a family of creative types. I also think this person is destined to be in some kind of creative field that they did in their past. I think this person feels like they've lost their way a little bit. Whoa, air turned off for confirmation on that. When you meet them, it's not that they've lost their way. They're on a path they're not going to stay on for the rest of their life. And I have a feeling they want to finish this path up. It's one of those things where they're like, I know at this point when you meet them, they're not really, the vibe I'm getting is they're not really sure if the path that they're on is right for them. And they kind of want to finish it anyway. It's like someone going to school for like mathematics, for example, and they liked math, but then as they go through school, they go, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? Do I want a career in math? Do I want this and that and all this stuff, right? But maybe they're halfway through their PhD and they still want to get their PhD. This is the vibe of someone who finishes school, gets their PhD, and then realizes when they were little and they played the piano, you know, or when they were little and they were in plays or musicals or whatever the case may be when they were younger, they had the most fun then. And this is the type of person who gets to return to some past activity that they felt really good about, and they get to live that out, become famous with it, and be kind of this incredible performer, right? Which is so interesting, because if you met them just hanging out or in this current phase of their life, your first impression of them is they're very bookish. They're very, they are creative when it comes to their ideas, and that does translate in their creativity and their art. But with Antelope Spirit, life is speeding up. This is the type of person who the momentum will speed up through your marriage as they rediscover their previous dream, their prior dream of creativity, of art, of performance. Whatever the case may be, when they go back to basics, they learn and they discover that they can live a very fast-paced lifestyle. And it's so interesting. I think they are aware with this Jera symbol here. I don't know if it's pronounced Yera or Jera, but it's the rune for harvest and time cycles. Here's the thing. They're in a time cycle of reading, introspection, study when you meet them. Their appearance looks the part. I will put that very clearly. Their appearance looks the part. Their appearance could shift and change into someone who is a more fast-paced, energetic, still time efficient. I feel like this person's very efficient with their time and what they're doing. However, I feel like this person has more energy as you get to know them. This person speeds up their energy quite a bit. They become more efficient. They become more, I don't know if talkative is the right word. They just become more, I think if they are talkative, they're efficient in their communication when they're talking. And they don't have time to dilly-dally is kind of the vibe here. Like this person definitely is the vibe of someone who doesn't want their time wasted. They don't want to like sit around and do nothing. They're very efficient with their time, although at the same time, they're very, very creative. They're very, very creative, and they love indulging. Like they love using their mind in creative activities. They might become more body focused, not necessarily in the sense that they're going to build up muscle mass or like start mixed martial arts or something like that. This person doesn't give that kind of macho vibe. They give the vibe of like they're always going to be professional. There's something about this person. They always look professional. They always look like they are in a suit, even when they're not. This is the type of person who, with the 10th house here, is going to rise the ranks because they always look good no matter what they're doing, right? These types of people, I'm going to be honest, as a reader, kind of intimidate me a little bit just because like sometimes I feel like I dress so, like sometimes okay, I'll just say it. Sometimes I dress like slobby, like, or artsy or something, but never really like if I dress professional, it's always in some kind of like weird artistic flair to it. But this person kind of looks well integrated whenever they're dressing and whenever they're presenting themselves. And I think it helps them rise the ranks. This is the kind of person who, has that kind of like really good looking skin or that really classic kind of put together look, basically. Now it's interesting when they go back to their past, right? They're just in love with what they do. And I think you guys are in love with what they do and you're on the roller coaster too. And I really feel there's a feeling with the Leo energy here of showing off to your partner, or you showing off to them showing off to you. I think a career is involved in your guys' marriage with some kind of creative center stage kind of activity. There's something about a lot of attention and garnering a lot of attention with Leo here. Yeah, I'm going to pull some tarot cards now. This reading's moving faster than the other readings, and maybe it's that I'm even being efficient with how I say these things more so than other groups, but let's keep going. Let me pull some tarot cards for you guys. We have 3 of Cups reversed. We have Queen of Wands upright, and we have 9 of Pentacles reversed. Sorry, I'm looking things over, guys. Sorry, I'm looking things over just a little bit longer so I can get all the messages out. It's been helping today, is just giving myself that time to analyze a little bit. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so a few different things. First, where do I start? Let's go to this part first. Okay, so 3 of Cups reversed. Your partner is not the type to notice the opposite sex. If you guys are jealous at all in any kind of capacity, this person will not arouse jealousy at all. You'll be like, hey, even if you guys try to poke and prod them, like even if you try to say like, hey, did you notice that girl over there? Like she was kind of cute. They'll be like, what are you talking about? What girl? This is the type of person who a lot of people might think they are, like, for example, if they are straight, people might think they're, homosexual or gay or something because they don't notice the sex that this person gives very much like they're not asexual, but they give the appearance of being asexual. They don't notice things. They don't pick up on signals. They don't, the vibe that I'm getting from them is that they're not necessarily constantly looking for sex. That's just not on their mind. I think they're I'm feeling like they're a passionate lover. I don't know, like jump to conclusions. It feels like, of course they would be. I mean, especially because you guys are marrying this person. This is your spouse. It's like, of course that's going to be fine and that's going to go over very well. But what I'm getting here is they don't have a wandering eye, which is kind of rare, I think, when it comes to people. Usually people have they at least check out other people while they're in a relationship, and usually partners are okay with that, whatever the case. This person, though, not a wandering eye at all. Like, not at all. Like, this person doesn't think about relationships in that regard. Their sexual feelings, I guess you could say, are more private. It's not like they're private. I feel like they would talk about sex, but they're not actively looking for a partner. So, for example, my female viewers, this person as a man, they're not going to be at the club with their guy friends, like looking for a girl to go home with at the end of the night. That's not this person's vibe. I would say that my men looking for the female partner, I mean, I would say she's even the same way. I'm getting the vibe that the men watching this, their female partner will go out with their girlfriends and look for guys, but they never go home with the guy. Like, they might flirt with the guy that night or something like that, but they never go home with that guy. There's something about them wanting to keep themselves separated from like casual encounters sexually, even though some of their girlfriends do that. And for the men, I'm getting these men as like more solitary in general. Like, men, for my female viewers, your spouse, the male version, or my gay viewers, your spouse, the male version, they are kind of isolated from other men. They don't hang out with a lot of other men. I'm hearing they hang out with family a lot if they have other men in their life, like cousins, or they hang out with like cousins that are girls or sisters or something like that. But I'm getting the vibe that this guy is just more of a solo kind of guy, and he might not even go out to clubs or bars, anything like that. And if he does, there's this feeling of like not being bored. It's just like not engaging in the typical behaviors at that place. This person is not really a partier. The men seeking the woman spouse is kind of more inclined to go to parties and socialize. The male, for my female viewers, not super social in general. But at the same time, this is a great thing if my female viewers or my gay man viewers are very jealous and you can't stand the thought of your partner being with someone else. This person will not be with anyone else. Like, this is the type of energy of someone who's like very loyal, and they base their connections off of psychological compatibility. They're more focused on what you have to say and how your personality and shared goals and stuff like that. So with the Three of Cups here, this is just something indicating that they don't have a wandering eye. They're not looking at other people. They're not checking out your friends. This person has kind of a solitary inward experience of their romantic attractions, and they're only going to think about someone romantically if that person kind of gets involved with them. And that's tricky for people to do because they actually have to let that person in as well. This person's really shielded from a lot of that excessive, flirtatious undercurrents in society. Next, I want to talk about this Nine of Pentacles here. I'm like loving this pen. I'm like, this is the first time I've had a pen and pointed at things. This is so fun. Okay, sorry. Nine of Pentacles. I think one of the main motivating factors for your partner's career expansion, and I feel like they could have had a really cushy job. They could have had a job that made them really financially independent, whether that's from their parents or from society, or it wasn't interconnected with anyone. They just had that position where they could be self-sufficient. There's a thing, your partner gave that up for the creative hobby. There will be periods of time where they doubt their ability to perform in this creative hobby and wish it made more money. They're going to think about this previous job or what they did, and they're going to start wondering if they should be doing it. I'm hearing oftentimes in your marriage, you will be telling your partner, no, remember how miserable you were in this thing and you didn't want it. And your partner's going to go, yeah, you're right. I think that you guys in the marriage keep your partner locked in on goals that they really want, and you don't let them stray. If they get distracted, you don't really let them stray. You don't let them go off course. You keep them focused, is the vibe that I'm getting. I'm also noticing the 2 here. This is could be a codependent energy, but mostly 2 is just about union and exchange. And sometimes 2s to me represent going back and forth between an issue, deciding something, trying to figure something out, going back and forth between 2 different options, honestly. And you guys might have periods where you discuss a lot of this, where your partner kind of decides, maybe I want to go back to this other job. And I don't want to predict too much about this. I do think ultimately your partner lands and feels most comfortable in this kind of performance stuff, following that passion that they had in their past, that they started their life with. But I do think they stray. They might actually, take breaks from their creative hobbies and get a job as using their degree, whatever their degree was, and, realize they didn't like that much, and they might go back into the creative hobby, and they might go back and forth a little bit for a while, And I think one of the things that is going to help motivate them when it comes to their creative career is when they start making a good amount of money doing it. I'm seeing artist, I'm seeing creative, I'm seeing unconventional artist for this person. It's interesting. That's all very interesting. And I think with the 9 of Pentacles, one of the main motivating factors for this person is to be financially independent from either parents or society or whatever the case may be. I think this person wants to be out of debt. I think this person wants to live financially separate from other people. Like, this might be the type of person who, wants to have solar panels and be totally off the electric grid, and so they're not dependent on stuff like that. This person doesn't want to be dependent on other people or other institutions or something like that. So independence really appeals to them. They think about it a lot. How can I be more independent? Do I have freedom from this situation? Am I alone and separate from these people? Are they relying on me? Do I owe this person money? If so, I should pay them right away so I can have my independence. I don't have to worry about these debts that I have, stuff like that. With Queen of Wands here, this is the energy of someone who is so popular and so expansive, and this is represented by both of you as a couple, that other people follow you. Other people follow your ideas, they follow your inspiration, they follow your creativity. And a lot of people that follow you with the oxen here, with these kind of ox-like creatures, I don't know if they're cows or oxen, are very strong and sturdy types and have the ability to withstand a lot in life. And so what I think here that is something that is interesting is I think your art at one end makes these people, whether it's your husband's art, your wife's art, your art, whatever you guys do, especially because you guys might collaborate with a lot of stuff here, because I already see that in the beginning of the reading, you guys had this ability to creatively work really well together. With Queen of Wands here, there's a vibe that your creativity, the stuff you create, the art you create, taps into the sensitivities of people who normally don't get tapped into. So what do I mean by that? People who kind of are pretty thick when it comes to their emotional sensitivity. Think the opposite of empaths. Say empaths are the types of people who, no matter what piece of art or thing they see, it affects them, right? So, someone who's affected by life in a very sensitive way could see like a heart-shaped rock on the ground and be flooded with tears, be flooded with these kinds of feelings of, wow, I'm thinking about the heart and the stone and my mom and how we used to throw pebbles it's like someone who's so sensitive and emotional about every single thing they see. That's the opposite of your guys' audience. You have the type of audience that can't really feel things from the art they experience. Basically, a lot of things come for your audience when you guys are doing your creative stuff together as a marriage partnership. Most people can't feel affected by art that come to your art, and they see your art for the first time and they go, oh my God, I'm affected. This person made me feel things. Like, I thought I was, some kind of apathetic sociopath that couldn't feel anything, but this art is making me feel something. Normally, I don't feel anything. I look at art all the time and it's just this boring, it just looks like a blank canvas to them, right? No matter what's painted on it, they just see a blank canvas. But when these people find your art, it makes them feel things in their heart. It makes them feel things in their soul. That's one reason why the people that follow you guys, why you get your fame and recognition. The reason you get your fame and recognition is because people love the art you create. It makes them feel something compared to everything else that's around in the world. Yeah, it's a very beautiful thing. I think you guys have a very unique way of creating, unique presentation, unique performance, whatever the case may be, and people really feel it. And like I said, it's sensitive people, they're not going to care too much about your art in particular because they're sensitized to pretty much everything. But the people who feel your art the most are these people who are kind of numb to the world. And they're like, wow, how come I'm feeling it with this? It's the people who can spot out quality because they know that everything else is just, according to these people, your audience, they're just like, everything's a piece of crap to them. And they don't want to deal with anything. And then all of a sudden they see your stuff and they're like, wow, I'm moved. I'm definitely moved. Anyway, that's all I got for your guys' reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below, subscribe if you want to see more readings like this. If you are curious, I also offer personal readings. The link to that is in the description box of my videos. And yeah, thank you guys again for letting me read for you. I really did have fun, and I appreciate you being here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey, group 3. Hey, group 3. Okay, so if you pick the red Jasper and this Long Way Home card, this will be your reading. So let's get into it. So my throat is just seized up a little bit, and I'm like, oh no, and I always get nervous when this happens before reading. What I'm hearing is this person is probably nervous to speak their truth. When it comes to your spouse coming through, there is a nervousness about, will this person like me? Will they not like me? Maybe a nervousness about coming forward when it comes to first meeting them. Okay, so let's get a card for them. We're gonna have first impressions on this side. We're gonna have more when you get to know them on this side, and then some other cards to clarify some of the stuff in the reading, or for some extra little ditties. So let's see the first impression of your spouse, group 3. We have writer. Let's see. Weaver of tales, storyteller, crafting, communication, polishing. Yeah, let's see here. And then I'm gonna roll these rune dice. Fun fact, I made these dice when I was in middle school. Very young, they're about 20 years old. So, all right, let's get them out on the table. We have Kenez, we have Need, we have Isa, we have Gabo. Cool. Fun fact is your guys' spouse is a little combination, I'm being told, of groups 1 and 2. There's a feeling of your spouse having those kinds of vibes. First of all, your spouse is just as inspired as far as thinking of cool ideas as group 2. And as far as group 1 goes, your spouse is also focused on your needs and the needs of the people around them. I'm actually hearing they're not just focused on the needs of the people around them, they're focused on the needs of everyone. What does everyone need on a massive kind of scale? We also have Gabo here. I feel like your spouse is really gifted and generous. And I also feel your spouse tries to be the strong one. And I say try because ice here as a rune reminds me of someone who is stoic, but also fragile. I do think ice is one of those things that is basically more flexible and stronger when it is not a solid figure. If you think of certain things that are solid, you think something solid is strong, like if you look at stone or armor or something like that. But if you had armor made of ice, it wouldn't necessarily be strong. Ice is kind of a rune, and what's reminding me of your partner is you're going to be able to notice this person is going to try to present as strong, but as a first impression underneath, there is a fragility to them. So keep that in mind with this person. When you meet them, you might notice they're putting on kind of like a little bit of a front of strength. The cool thing about ice is when it's in its most natural form and it's not chilled or cold or lacking warmth, which we all know the warmth of love can melt an icy heart. This person in particular is very fluid, very flexible, and has an intuition that is very, very strong. We'll probably be getting into that over here when we talk about this person more. But I will just say as a first impression, this person presents as strong, but at the same time, the people who can see through this facade understand that in these moments where they're presenting as strong, they're actually at their weakest. So this person can act tough, but in reality, when they're acting this tough, they're actually at their most fragile, they're at their most defensive, they're at their most vulnerable, right? That's kind of the vibe of this person. And you'll notice this upon first meeting them, right? This is someone who presents an image of strength, but really could crumble quite quickly if they're in a position where they can't be adaptable or they have to be stoic in a situation where they should be able to be adaptable or fluid. Now, Gabo is really interesting. I think your spouse is so generous. They're so generous and they receive a lot of generosity from others. Gabo is kind of in my rune that is associated with traditional Jupiter symbolism, specifically in the medieval Renaissance era version of Jupiter, where it's like generosity begots, that's the Bible, begets generosity. So it's like, if I'm generous to you, people will be generous to me. This person believes in an even exchange of gifts giving. I also think when you're courting this person, you first start dating this person, one way you're going to know that this person is your spouse is they will be very generous with gifts and stuff like that. This is the type of person who's going to offer to pay for dinners. This is the type of person who is going to, what's so funny is I was playing with these cards, guys. I'll just show you playing with these cards and I got the 9 of Cups upright. This person is going to want to get you stuff that you want, or there'll be a little bit of wish fulfillment with this person and their gift giving. But overall, this person really does like exchange, and they really like helping people out. They like getting you gifts you need too, is kind of the vibe. So for example, say you're always complaining about, oh, I keep losing pens. It's so funny, this whole reading in all these groups, I've been playing with this pen, pointing at things. But I keep losing pens. I want to write stuff. Speaking of writers, right there is the example. I want to keep writing, but I keep losing my pens and all my good pens are gone. This is the type of person who's going to hear what you need and go out and buy you those pens. That's the kind of vibe of this person, right? Also, this is the type of person where, say you're craving something like, oh, I'm craving sushi. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go, but I just really want sushi and I don't have time to go get it this week. And I just wish I could have it. I'm so sick of eating spaghetti every night at home or something like that while I'm studying for this final or whatever. This person is the type of person who's going to go out, get you the sushi, surprise you, and just be like, you know what, I'll get it. Don't worry about it. This person goes out of their way to make you comfortable, and they do it through gift giving. They might buy you bracelets. They might buy you gift certificates to massage parlors and spas and stuff like that. This person really likes to pamper you, is what I'm hearing. I'm also hearing this person has a lot of bright ideas, but not a lot of people listen to their ideas. I'm hearing there's 2 messages coming through. Either their ideas are odd or unusual and not a lot of people listen to them, but you guys like them and you follow through with them or you understand them. That is something that's coming through. Or on the flip side, when you first meet them, their ideas seem odd or unusual to you, but over time you learn to trust their intuition, trust their instincts, and trust their inspiration as it pops up. I think the light just flickered. What the heck? Yeah, I really think this person has some pretty profound epiphanies about life in general. With writer here, I think this person loves storytelling. I saw writer and then right immediately below I saw storyteller. I think this person loves telling stories. I think they have a lot of adventures. They go out places, they see things, they experience people, and they love coming back home and telling stories about what happened. So going back to my example about them getting sushi for you when you're craving it, and maybe I'm getting the vibe a lot of you might work from home. because there's something I got about you being in your apartment and having to do a whole bunch of stuff in your apartment, but not being able to leave for whatever reason, them going to the store and coming back and getting you food or something, and then them having this kind of extravagant tale about how they got the food. Like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe it. Like, I stepped in this puddle and I got like, this happened to me or something like that. And then I ran into this person and oh my gosh, I met so-and-so from college. And then they met me over here and they had this recommendation for a sushi place that we've never tried before. So I went over there and I got it and they had your favorite roll. And then after that, I noticed when I was coming back home, there was a billboard for this new movie and this, stuff like that. Like, this person's very chatty about what they've seen and what they look at periodically through their life. So when they go on these little roundabout adventures, I think they have the storytelling ability, and they have a gift for writing and creating stories, just in general. Yeah, we also have crafting and communication. This person really enjoys sharing what they've seen, what they've heard. This is the type of person who's really immediately impacted and has a lot of sensations about what they've seen. They have a lot of like feelings and they know how to weave certain stories together in a really breathtaking kind of way is what I'm seeing. Now, back with the ice thing, yeah, they present as confident on first appearance. They might even present as cold or introverted in some cases, but in reality, they're very fluid like water and they're very adaptable and they're very extroverted. So the best way I can describe this is sometimes if they're in a tricky situation where they can't use their intuition or they feel like they're in a corner, they will get kind of stoic and cold and they might not say or do anything specifically that feels adaptable to the situation. However, I think that once they feel free and open, they will freely talk and share about all their experiences and everything they've been going through and really have a way of captivating their audience, right? Now, remember, when it comes to their ideas, they have a lot of odd or unusual ideas that most people, for most of you, this is the situation with this person. Most people don't really pay attention to their ideas. They go, okay, that's great. They mainly like this person for their entertainment value, for the fact that they're very generous with their time and resources, and the fact that this person's very tapped into other people's needs. However, their ideas are not, this person's not really respected for their ideas, right? I'm hearing you guys are one of the few people who really appreciate what this person has, their ideas, their concepts, their understandings, their epiphanies about life. And at the same time, it even might take you guys some time to get used to their ideas and what they're saying and stuff like that. And I think at first, it's almost like you guys just don't grasp them or you don't see how they apply, something like that. Sorry, I'm pausing because I'm hearing the sirens. I'm hearing these ideas are good in moments of urgency. I think a lot of their ideas happen and they get told to you because I think these ideas get processed in a way by you that makes you aware of what you can do in situations that are either difficult, traumatic, or sudden in some way, shape, or form that need to be dealt with immediately. Because when I think of sirens, I think of, first of all, breaking through boundaries, because when you're, at least here in the state of California, the ambulances get to run red lights, they get to do all sorts of things so they can get the person in their situation to the destination, the hospital, or the police can get to the situation on time. There's a green light, there's a fast track in this connection to get somewhere really quickly. And I think their ideas are going to help you do that, specifically in this connection. Their thoughts, their ideas, their creativity, their inspiration, when they tell it to you, it helps you become more efficient. Not just efficient, it helps you bulldoze everyone in your way to get to your destination that you need to, because you know how to navigate the flow of the crowd with this sense of light or inspiration. Torch also represents light, and I often think of, modern day for this rune would be a flashlight, because we think of Kenaz as like a torch, can relate to knowledge and stuff, but I'm thinking of a flashlight lighting your way. It's like you can't sprint in a dark room to the other side of the room without knowing what you're going to trip on or hit a wall or something like that. But if you had a flashlight, you can move way faster, when you can see what you're doing. So I see this person's ideas to you is kind of like illuminating. And remember, this is the first impression. So I do think this person is going to have some ideas that you're going to right away be comfortable with. And I think ultimately this person's going to be generous and caretaking to your needs, especially when it comes to gift giving. Yeah, I really feel this person is tapped into your needs right away. That's the solid first impression. I also want to say that this group, there is a solid first impression of this person knowing your needs right away in a way that's kind of freaky. It's like, whoa, how do they know that I need this right now? Like, no one gets that from me. No one understands that part of me. And they know, like, right off the bat, they don't even know me, and they figured this out. And to this person, it is normal that they're this tapped into people's needs right away upon meeting them. But I'm hearing for you guys, it's a really rare quality, and you haven't met many people like this who just get what you need right off the bat. So as far as a first impression goes, this is a powerful one, I will say, right? Yeah, let's pull another card. I want to pull a card now for how they are in the marriage or what you get to know about them later. And we have Turkey Spirit. We have Give with Gratitude and Grace. Then I want to roll some Astro Dice for this person as well in your married life and all that good stuff. We have Saturn, we have the 4th house, and we have Leo. Okay. TMI, but I'm taking it as a sign, so I'll just tell you guys. I have this like piece of something in my mouth, and I think it's like a piece of herb or a flake of parsley or something, because I just had some pasta earlier, like some garlic pasta. Anyway, point being is it just kind of got dislodged in my mouth, and I was able to like pick it out and like throw it on the ground. Sorry. But there's something going on when you first meet this person that's like bothering you or irritating you. And so it's not going to affect your relationship necessarily, but there is something that you're kind of working through when you meet this person that's kind of annoying. And I did get this image of you in your home working on a project and not being able to leave or do things. And this person taking on kind of like an assistant type role for you, where like, you're like, I can't leave, I can't do this, I have to work on this. And like this person being like, oh, no worries, I'll go get that, or I'll do that, or something like that, or working through those needs with you. Once you get to know this person and you're settled into a marriage, I'm specifically seeing with Saturn here, the long-term commitment process, I really do feel that this issue will be taken care of and be out of your life and be gone for good. I'm hearing this is a long-term issue, and I don't know if you guys are in the issue yet or not. If you are in the issue, you will know, because it is something that you have to deal with periodically that is just kind of annoying. For some of you, this could be a health issue. This could be something like, I can't go to the store to get sushi because it's just going to be annoying. I'm going to have to get this whole thing on and this thing, like put this here, and I'm going to have to go down, and whatever the case may be, there's something that you guys feel is something you just have to kind of persistently take care of that's kind of annoying. Something that it could be that's not necessarily annoying for some of you is what I'm getting, but like you could be taking care of a pet or something like that. I can't leave the house because I'm watching this person or this kid or this pet or whatever the case may be. And your partner, this person that you're dating, being like, no worries, I'll go, I'll take care of it. Something along those lines. There's something about with the 4th house also representing the home, that the home is really important for you guys when you finally do get married. Now, it's interesting because I think this experience with either staying at home before or while you're courting this person or in the process of courting them, there's just some things in your home environment that I think you wish you could change. I am hearing with 4 here in the 4th house, when you're married to this person and you guys are kind of in control of your own environment, it will be peaceful, it will be beautiful, it will be efficient, it will be organized, it will be everything you want and more in a home environment. I have a feeling you will have the most idyllic home base possible. Now with Turkey spirit, we also think of Turkey. When I think of Turkey, I think of serotonin, right? I think of serotonin. We also have a 6 and a 1 up here, which boils down to a 7, which is also a card about, or a number about retreat and isolation and mystery and hidden things in the world. But I'm seeing it mainly as isolation. I think your guys' couple and your guys' connection, even though your partner kind of goes out and explores, and they will always do this periodically, they're always comfortable having a night in, staying a night in. They are always comfortable being private with you, being away from the limelight, being away from the public. This is my group where if you like your privacy, and maybe that's one of the things, maybe you don't go get sushi periodically at night or in the day or whatever, whenever you want sushi, because you don't want to leave the house. You're just like, I don't want to leave the house today. Like, I'm comfy. I don't want to have to deal with people. I don't want to have to talk to people. And this person's like, you know what? I've got you. I've got it. I'll go get us dinner. I'll be right back. That's kind of the vibe of this connection. I'm also seeing with the 4th house here, you will have a secure, solid home base that is in the cards for you. You will have a very long-term home base with Saturn here. Part of your marriage is basically to set up shop, set up a domain, set up a fortress, and maintain and hold it for a long period of time. With long way here, I feel this has been a long time coming for you. For some of you, you've had difficulties with having a home environment, almost like it's been really hard to either live in one place for too long, or it's been difficult to live with certain people that you don't want to live with, or there's just some kind of, either you have a handicap, or there's something is going on where you have a slight irritation at home is what I'm getting. Now, when it comes to this connection in the future, the home environment, once it gets into this state of perfection, it stays in that state of perfection for a really long time. Saturn makes its way around the zodiac wheel every roughly 29 years, right? Every 29 years, you might have some kind of issue, right? Some kind of issue that lasts for a year or two, and then it's gone, and you have another 29 years of perfect harmony, right? It's very rare you're going to have any issues in the home. I'm hearing some of you need to hear that, because I'm hearing some of you are almost losing hope at this point. Now with the Saturn energy here, this is a very long-term connection. Your partner takes marriage very seriously. Very seriously. They are loyal, they're dedicated. This is Saturn energy. Now, marriage might not be all butterflies and rainbows. In fact, I'm even hearing that you guys, the romance is taken seriously to the point where other people might feel your relationship and your connection is dry. Now, you don't think it's dry, is what I'm hearing. I feel like you both feel there's a lot of passion in your relationship and a lot of love, but you might have some people on the outside of your connection view it as a dry relationship and kind of feel, they're like, do you really love each other? And you'll be like, of course we love each other. They're like, it just doesn't look like it from the outside. It doesn't look like you guys love each other. And who the heck are these people to judge? I'm sorry, I'm getting defensive for you guys right now. I'm like, who? Like what are you saying? Everyone expresses affection in different ways. And I'm hearing you and your partner express affection in a more serious, more mature fashion, right? It's not youthful, it's not impulsive, it's not fiery. You're not fighting like every other couple. Like your other friends might be fighting with their spouse every single day or something like that, and there's a lot of passion in the connection. It's kind of actually in a weird way similar to group 1. If you're with a friend and your friend's watching group 1, and but your guys' connection's not like that. That's just not the way you deal with problems. You discuss them in a dry, matter-of-fact fashion with no heat and no passion. That's kind of the vibe here. And I feel like this is something that is, I don't know. You guys have an eye for the future with Saturn here. There's something about the long-term perspectives of this connection, and knowing that, romance comes and goes. And here's the thing. You are probably my group where either of you both have some asexual tendencies. That just means that sex isn't going to come around all the time. But I don't think either of you care about that. Maybe you guys have been in connections or partnerships where people have made you feel guilty that you're not as sexually intrigued 100% of the time or most of the time. And you guys are like, no, I just don't care, or something like that. there is kind of a vibe here of neutrality. I will say this, which is a beautiful thing. Your cycles will be synced up, very synced up, as far as a connection. And here's the other thing. I'm getting a message to jump ship from that message and jump into the next message. Leo is representing your child. For those of you in this connection, most of you are going to have a very show performy, center of attention, diva, or like, I'm getting diva for a lot of you. I think that a lot of you, your child's either going to be, have a lot of feminine energy. They could be a man or a woman, but they would have a lot of feminine energy, and they kind of have this vibe of being very flamboyant is what I'm seeing. Now, your kid on one hand, I think wants to get out of the house at all costs, right? They're not going to want to stay at home too long. I think even when they're little, they're going to want to go on a lot of adventures. And I think at some point there might be I don't even know if it's uncomfortable. It's just a certain moment where they're wondering why you guys don't go out with them on adventures, or why you guys don't go out and do things, and why they can only go out with dad, or they can only go out with mom. And there's just kind of a moment here where they learn growing up that you and your child are just cut from a different cloth in that way. Not that there's always love there. I don't think I'm not getting a vibe of like a fight or a disagreement or something. But there is a different way of living life that you have with your kid. I want to bring that up. I'm also hearing something about a relative who's adventurous, and this kid really bonding with that relative. Like if you have a brother or sister that's really adventurous or goes out or does a lot of activities, this kid's going to have a lot of fun going out with auntie or with uncle so-and-so or whatever, you know? So with the Leo energy here, this child also wants to be in performances and wants to have fun and wants to be center of attention. I think they have a little group of friends that they're either the leader of, or they're like really popular within that group, something like that. I also think this kid, the vibe I'm getting is this kid's really good in school. They like operate really well outside of the home, but maybe get a little antsy when they're at home too long, something like that. So just keep that in mind as a dichotomy to like think of solutions. And like I said, your spouse is going to think of great solutions for all of this sort of stuff, right? Because Ken is a solution focused rune. It's like, yeah, we know the way. Yeah, we know the right answer. Yeah, we have this. We have this already figured out. It's kind of like being prepared in advance. It's kind of what I'm seeing. Now your spouse, when you get to know your spouse with Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace, something that you're going to learn about them. Gratitude and grace. I just think this person, this generosity that you see up front, you might think it's a facade or something. Like when they, like, I feel like they're really tapped into your needs on one hand, but then it's like when they give you a gift, you're like, okay, this is too good to be true. Like, stop giving me gifts. Like, you're not going to keep this up for forever. You're not going to be able to keep giving me things and making these exchanges and helping me out. Like, this is not something this is not, normal people don't have this ability to do this. When, like, in the future, there's this kind of vibe of this person basically being able to do all that stuff. Like, and I don't know, they do it like we said, give with gratitude and grace. And with Turkey Spirit here, I want to go back to my associations with the symbol of a turkey too. This is giving serotonin boost, right? This person, it's so funny. I'm thinking of raves now because I have a history with raves, and serotonin is associated with certain drugs at raves. But this person might have kind of like a past with certain like subcultural fun things that revolve around states of bliss or ecstasy. But what I'm hearing right now with Turkey Spirit is this is a sense of well-being. Like, this person, you create a sense of well-being and happiness in the home. I'm hearing for some of you, I don't do medical, FYI, just a little blanket statement there. I don't listen to me if I have medical advice. Sometimes I'll say something and I'll just tell you I have to say it, but it's up to you. And even in any reading, it's up to you to use your own judgment when it comes to advice that a reader is giving you. You always have to follow your own intuition, your own judgment, do your own research, ask a professional if you need to. But what I'm hearing is a lot of you, if you've been on antidepressants for a while, for your whole life, or for a while, or you're on some kind of substance, whether that's alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, whatever the case may be, if you're on some kind of substance or antidepressant or something to help you get through the days, once you meet your spouse, you will no longer need that substance. There will be no need for it. I'm hearing you might accidentally stop taking your meds for a couple days and you're like, whoa, I'm still fine or something like that. And then you might talk to your doctor, or there might be a feeling of coming off of them a little bit. And then it turns out you're just good. Like your spouse and living with them is enough to keep you happy. They are an antidepressant. They just have that vibe about them. They are full of that positive energy, right? Let's see what else. Is there anything else here about married life? I feel like there is. What is it? The song, I think, is it Nelly Furtado, where it's like, fly like a bird. I want to know where my home is. I'm getting the message, fly like a bird. I want to fly away. I don't know where my home is. That song, I think it's like Fly by Nelly Furtado. I don't know. I'm maybe mixing up a music artist there. But that might be a song that is relevant for you guys, or that you really associate or find beautiful. It could be your spouse's favorite song. It's just a song that's coming through. There might be messages in that song for you when it comes to this reading. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's what I think was the last message there. So let's get some tarot cards, and then we'll wrap up your reading. Let's get some tarot cards for group 3. Okay. Singing is important for your spouse and your child. You guys might not be singers. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but your spouse and your child are going to enjoy singing, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Let me take a look at some of this stuff, guys. I've been taking pauses to look at the cards. I used to do this all the time in older videos. I feel called to do that periodically through these piles. So let me just do that real quick. Ah, cool. Let's see what else here. Oh, it's so beautiful. Wow, I'm getting leg tingles with this 5 of Cups reversed. I'll get to this in a second. I just want to talk about the bodily sensation of getting leg tingles. There's tingling on my left leg and my thigh. For some of you, if you have something with your left leg that's a medical issue, that could be something that's causing depression of some kind for some of you, but there's a tingling, it's being released when you meet this person. And 5 of Swords. Let's look at the 5 of Swords real quick. Okay. So first of all, I want to point out, let's just go back to the 5 of Cups since I already started talking about that. When you're in your connection with your partner, you will slowly be getting happier and happier and happier. You will slowly start to see the more positive, bright side of life. This is a connection that other people are going to mention, they're going to see this in you, but they're not going to realize it's coming from your spouse. They're going to think you're just like changing on your own, because remember, with that Saturn energy here, your guys' connection isn't just like shooting off with like flowers and chocolates and roses and, it's not the typical like smoochy Valentine's Day public display of affection kind of connection. It is not that at all. It's very much realistic, grounded, down to earth. We take our love seriously. I'm showing you love in a serious way, that kind of vibe. But with 5 of Cups, you are going to have a happier kick to your personality. So even though it's not necessarily totally showy and emotional, there is an undercurrent of romance that maybe is not expressed outwardly, but is felt internally and psychically between the both of you. Now that is creating a period of happiness in you that's going to last quite a while. Like I said, Saturn, as long as you're in this marriage, you will feel uplifted. This is the type of person who provides that serotonin boost. And like I said, I'm getting leg tingles on my left thigh. And I'm just want to let you know that the left thigh on your body might be something that is significant as far as like something with a disappointment or something along those lines for some of you. I'm getting told not to talk about it too much because it's too triggering, but I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, so going to Judgment here with Rider, I want to get into this situation. Basically, point being with this card, you'll slowly get happier and happier. Any sorts of, like, I'm going to talk about it briefly, but trauma or issues within your body, whether it's a mental health thing or a physical handicap or something like that, will be more alleviated by this connection. Now, with your partner in this sense of judgment, your partner, I'm hearing, loves exploring and loves telling stories of where they've been. Even though there's this vibe of you guys having a very peaceful home life, you still need to go to the outer world to get things done. And I'm hearing your partner loves doing that. They are very much an explorer. They are very much like, I want to go to the store, or I want to go shopping, or I'll go pick that up for you, or I'll go pick up that errand, or whatever the case may be. They love moving. They love being in motion. And I'm hearing with the Judgment card, the more they see and the more they experience, the more they develop a very strong, good sense of judgment about life, situations, the world, everything that's going on in the world. They have an ability to have a sense of right and wrong that is pretty impeccable. I'm also seeing judgment too. I really use judgment as like a sense of ascending realities. And I do think this person in general just likes exploring different realities. They like being in different places. I want to go to Alaska for a week, and then I want to try out the desert, and then I want to go to the city, or I want to work in an arcade for a while, and then the next week I want to work in a restaurant. You know, whatever the case may be, this person likes exploring and doing things, right? They're very much kind of an exploratory kind of energy to them. And like I said, the more experience they gain, the more life experience they gain, the better their judgment is in any sort of situation. They're not really going to be caught off guard or stuck in a situation where there's kind of an ethical ambiguity. They know what's right and wrong in any given moment, and they know the right thing to do in any given moment. They have a really strong sense of ethics bound into their identity, and it just accumulates more and more over time the more experiences they have. Last but not least, with the Five of Swords, I'm seeing this is related to you guys. You guys might be doing a lot of research at home, understanding things at home, following through with certain things at home, projects at home, and just in general are a little more isolated in general. I'm seeing you guys in this vibe of like, how do I put it? You, to me, seem like a more isolated individual because you're focused on research, projects, studying. There's something, it's not necessarily a workaholic energy. It's more like a perfectionistic energy is the best way I can see it. But I'm not going to exclude workaholism for you guys. It's just something that I'm seeing that you guys really find value in the work you do. You really find value in, how do I put it? You're proud of your accomplishments. You're proud of what you put your mind to. You're proud of what you're working towards. I also think you guys are maybe more my types in this connection to do stuff like budgeting and do stuff like the financial planning and stuff like that. It doesn't feel like your partner does too much of that stuff, even though they focus on needs and getting the things that the family needs. Like, they might be good at spending money. Maybe you guys are better at managing it. I don't know. There's a vibe here of just you doing a lot of research, really researching things and going within to find answers, right? I think also your partner's instincts and ideas and original kind of things that they talk about stimulates you to refine them. That's what I'm getting with the perfectionism. It's not really workaholism. It's you're perfecting the idea that the partner has, and you're kind of fine-tuning it with a lot of the details. And I'm hearing this sense of grinding and polishing comes really natural to you guys. All right, I'm going to end your guys' reading there. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. Subscribe if you feel like it and you want to see more of these readings in the future. And yeah, I also offer personal readings. Those are in the description box of my videos. You can go to my Etsy page and do a little digging and find all the information you need to purchase one of those if you would like one. And with that said, it was an honor reading for you guys today. It was so much fun. I felt really good to give you guys this reading. You have a very lovely spouse on your hands, and I really do feel like you're going to really have the happy life you want. And I'm hearing that maybe a lot of you have struggled in this group, or you've had some kind of difficulty trying to live, or it's just life has been a little harder for you than the average person. We're seeing that a little bit here with Saturn. But just know when your spouse comes around, it's like they share the duties. They share the responsibilities. They're not afraid to help you out. They're not afraid to do some of the tasks that you find difficult to do. And I really do think that will be really great and amazing for the both of you. So anyway, catch you guys later. Bye. Hey, group 4, let's get into your reading. So I feel called to really just lay out what the reading's all going to be about so you guys know ahead of time. So impressions, first impressions of your spouse, going to be on the left side. More so what your spouse is going to be like in marriage and a little bit of married life, going to be on the right side. Any other little pieces of information we need to know, those are going to be the tarot cards. So let's get into your reading. I feel like I'm an auctioneer right now. Like the way I'm talking, I know I probably don't sound like this on camera or on the video, but I feel like an auctioneer, like a salesman or some kind of performance, or I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like someone who is very demonstratively describing the product or something like that. I don't know what that means yet, but we'll get into your reading and we'll find out. Maybe you've dealt with a person like that recently. Maybe you guys are like that yourselves. Maybe your spouse is like that. Let's see what the cards say. So we have vendor, merchant, retailer, individual, entrepreneur. Interesting. Okay. And then I'm going to roll these rune dice for further information about your spouse. So let's see here. We have Jera, we have Raido, we have Dagaz, and we have Uruz. It's kind of like this rainbow effect I've got going on, which I didn't like lay these out like this in the other readings, but I feel like doing it in this reading. Okay, let's put those here. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me look at this for a second. Messages are coming in a little bit slower than normal, but that's okay. I'll just take a second to look and see what we got here. Okay, so a few things that are coming through. With vendor here, I feel like your person, it says merchant, retailer, individual, entrepreneur. I feel like your partner works for a specific company, or there's something that comes across when it comes to your partner and your first impression of them. You really notice the work they're doing. There's something about the work they're doing, or the place that you meet them is at their work, something like that. For a lot of you, this person is either a waiter or a server, or you meet them. They could be a manager. I'm getting for some of you, you complain about something in a store or something like that, or there's some kind of issue with an employee that's so ridiculous, and then you ask to speak to the manager, and the manager is your future spouse. It's like, that's the first impression, is like someone who is like dealing with a situation like that. This person feels businessy. They feel like they're traveling for business. This person also in general loves travel. They love being on the road. And I'm talking, this is not like group 3. Group 3 had a person who loved to like run errands and run outside the house to get like takeout. This person likes to travel across the country. I'm also getting a vibe that I feel like in this marriage, there is going to be some kind of connection to travel. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because this is more like the long term of what's going to happen. This is like first impression. So the first impression you get from this person is that they're well traveled, that they have a lot of experience, they've been to a lot of places, that they like to go on trips. I would say that when you're first going on dates with your future spouse, as far as a first impression goes, they're going to want to go travel places, probably to really long distances, like 3-4 hours away, something like that. This person likes road trips. They like journeying. They probably have an RV when you meet them. They probably have some kind of vehicle that they can stay and camp out in or something like that. This person is on the road. They're always on the road. Now, I see there's a seasonal aspect to a lot of their travel. There's periods of the year where they like to travel more than other periods. This person is also possible with the Dagaz and the Jera and the Rado room. It's possible they have 2 houses. Possibly they have multiple living arrangements across the country. Depending on how wealthy this person is, they either take their home with them or they purchase homes in different areas of either your country that you're living in or different states or whatnot. This person definitely likes to roam. They like to roam. They like to travel. I also think ultimately I think first impression wise, this person comes off as shocked about you. Like, I think you show up in this person's life and they look at you and they're like, what? Like something about that. There's something about like you liking them that shocks them, something along those lines. I also think with Doggos here, I'm getting this. I know this is normally not a rune about physical beauty, but I'm getting this about physical beauty. There's something about them where they seem really entranced and attracted to your light or your physical beauty. There's something along the lines of like two beings of light meeting and creating a sense of energy between them. And I'm seeing that with you and this person for sure. Also, we have Euros here, which just goes to show you that this person's very strong. They're very either muscular or they have a strengthened masculine side to their temperament. I think this person is pretty attractive as far as like musculature goes. I don't know. To me, honestly, I don't know how that's possible. When I go on trips, I eat total junk food, and if I was traveling all the time, I would just lose all shape completely. But yeah, basically, this person is just really ripped, really fit, very strong. This is the type of person who could be into manual labor, like whatever their job is. Maybe say, for example, if they're on the road, say they're like a crew member in like a traveling whatever or not. They're the ones doing the heavy lifting. They're the ones taking things out of the truck. They're the ones putting things together. Vendor makes me feel like they have a specific business that they take on the road. Like, I think this person in some way, shape, or form has some kind of business that they sell in different parts of the country, or they go to convention centers to sell their product, or there's something about maybe they go to concerts, or they like are selling, they have a booth at like certain festivals and they sell their stuff at certain festivals and they make a lot of money at these festivals, something like that. Something along the lines of this person, when you first meet them, is working at an event like this. So for example, if you like to go to music festivals, this is someone who's working one of the booths, like selling the whatever hemp blankets that people are buying that day because it's raining or something, you know, like whatever the case may be. This could be a food vendor of some kind. I really do feel like you meet this person in a situation where they're working, and they're either working for someone else or they're working as some kind of vendor. Like they work in a truck outside on or by the beach or something like that. I'm also getting the vibe of someone who like draws characters at the beach, something along those lines. Whatever the case may be, this person has a traveling kind of job. They set up shop in different places for different events as a specific vendor is what it feels like. And that's kind of like at the time you're meeting them. I don't think they do this job for forever. They might, but the main thing that I'm seeing is this is kind of like how you meet them. And just so you know, you're noticing their physical appearance a little bit when you first meet them. There's something about how radiant they are and how buff they are. Honestly, like this, I feel like there's something about their musculature that's really relevant here as far as like something you're noticing. Yeah, they have kind of like an everyday, everyman kind of worker type vibe to them. I don't think this is the type of person who really, how do I put it? Like they don't necessarily rise, or at least at this point, they haven't rose to a really extravagant or elegant place in society where they're at like with the elites of society, something like that. Like this person is definitely like a hard worker. They're strong. They love travel though. They love journeying. They love new experiences. They love to explore. And they have a bright, like, how do I put it? This person is a beacon of light. They don't really have like a, like, I guess, okay, so if I was going to describe your first impression, like the first couple of words you see when you see them, whoa, this person's buff. I'm buying a burger from them at this vendor shop, or I'm buying a sweater from their clothing company and they're traveling with that. This person seems like a good person. They seem nice. They seem kind. They seem open. And then it's like, this person seems like an everyday kind of worker type vibe. And then I think the traveling thing comes later. I think you find out they like traveling later because I think either they ask you out or you ask them out. And the first date is like, hey, you want to go to so-and-so and such? And it's like, you think that's in town, but it's actually like 3 hours away. And you're like, whoa, that's a trek. So Honestly, that's kind of the vibe I got from your person first impression. I'm going to move into married life and all of that stuff right now. Let's see what married life is going to be like for my group fours. Group fours, what's coming through for their spouse when they get to know them better? We have giraffe spirit, see the big picture. And let's look at the dice here to see what, man, we got a lot of the 10th house coming out here. We also have Pisces and we have the sun. Okay. I'm getting a little bit more of a picture of this person right here, okay? Let's see. First thing I want to mention that's coming to mind, I feel like I need to talk about this right away. Pisces, as I know the sign, when I meet someone who's a Pisces, they never strike me as an intuitive type. Something about Pisces has that like hidden intuition, you know? I don't know why this is, but all the Pisces I've met don't really have kind of like a straight up, upfront kind of intuition. I would say, as far as like psychic abilities go, I found like other Cancers have like really intense psychic abilities, and definitely Scorpios. Scorpios are just like knee deep in the occult, like from my experience. But Pisces in general seem to be more like intellectuals to me. They seem to be more the types that think of systems of thought. I think Albert Einstein is a Pisces. I think of like Albert Einstein, like developing the theory of relativity, right? I'm thinking like mathematics and science and physics when I think of Pisces. I'm also thinking of, you know, sometimes a lot of Pisces I know are very ambitious. As we're having the 10th house mixed with Pisces, it's making me think of a lot of those Pisces that I know that are really ambitious. With the sun here, this person is definitely likes to be center of attention. Like, this is the interesting thing. This person, when you meet them, is like in a work environment, right? They're not really being super extra. But when you get to know them, they are like an entertainer. They are extra. They are over the top. They're very fun. They're very flamboyant. I also think with Pisces here and see the bigger picture, right? This is the type of person who loves to cover all the ground. This is where this Rado rune jumps into all of this territory. Because one thing that I'm seeing is they like to see how the whole world is operating, but they don't trust the news. They don't trust the news. They don't trust what people say or do, especially when you meet them. There's something about, I don't trust anything because of AI. So this person doesn't like AI. It's like, I don't know if they don't like AI, they just are aware that AI is obscuring the facts of things, if that makes sense. Basically, they want to see everywhere around them, and that's why they like to travel. They like to go to new places, they like to travel, they like to get the whole picture of the environment they're living in. I'm also hearing to protect themselves from threats. They like to go visit places outside of the home and go visit locations around them, because this person's really into geography. This person's really into geography and knowing the topography of any area that they live in. How do I put it? They're like a surveyor or something like that. Even in their later years, they might leave this vendor job and start doing something in construction and being a surveyor or something like that. Because I'm hearing they're really good at heavy lifting. They're really strong in that department. I think they could have some kind of independent contractor business when it comes to like land surveying or something like that, because they're one part the idea guy and they're one part the physical strength, right? Now with the 10th house here, this is coming through as far as like, you know what's so interesting? I'm not getting a lot about you guys here when it comes to this marriage. There's not a lot of information about what part you play in the marriage, which is interesting. I think that's going to come up when we pull more tarot cards, but this is very different than the other groups. The other groups, I got some kind of indication of the kind of connection that the both people were in, but this is still just reminding me of your person in the marriage. So I think when you get into a marriage with this person, they're very career driven. They're very focused on their accomplishments in their career. I think when they're here in the vendor job, this is just some kind of work they do. And it's interesting. I think here they even probably started this business with the vendor job, or they're in the process of working with it. But I think there's some other career that comes about that deals with the bigger picture, that deals with surveying land or contractor work or something like that, or being in construction or you know, something along those lines. It might even be that they still have the vendor job when you get to know them and when you are married to them, but they like to travel to different places with this vendor job. So for example, they might not want to do the same festival twice. They might try to do different types of festivals or different types of outings or experiences, or go to different arenas for conventions or sports games or whatever the case may be, because they want to see all different types of people and all different types of cultures in as many cities as possible. This person's definitely a people watcher is the vibe that I'm getting. And I really do feel like they get a reputation, which you wouldn't think a vendor type of energy would get a reputation here, right? And I'm getting a lot about this person's career. I feel like they're really passionate about their career, mainly because it lends them the ability to see a whole bunch of different stuff. With Pisces here, this does talk about the ocean and the sea, and Pisces is the fish. It's like the two fish, and it kind of reminds me of yin and yang. It also reminds me of the ocean. I think you'll probably be traveling a lot with your partner, or they're traveling on their own. Like I said, I think the rest of the cards in the reading are going to give me a bigger picture into what your connection is about, not necessarily just your partner, but for whatever reason, in this part of the reading, you really need to hear about what your partner's like. Now with the sun energy here, this is what lights your partner up. Just seeing new places, being in new places. Group 3 had a similar energy to this. This person in group 3, the more they explored around their immediate neighborhood, they gain like judgment, like better judgment about things. But I see that your partner doesn't really synthesize anything from these experiences. They just like the knowledge of the areas and knowing the places and travel. This person really likes travel. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, and we have the sun here too. I really do think as you get to know your partner, they come across as very jovial. I think here as the vendor, you see that inner light in them, and you see that they're very strong and that they have this kind of like work ethic. They kind of just seem like okay, so have you guys seen Kiki's Delivery Service? It's a movie, it's a Miyazaki film, it's an anime. If you ever watch it, there is, what's her name? Ozaka Ohana? What, I can't remember. Ohana's the Italian word for family. Okay, anyway, so Hawaiian word for family. There is a guy that works with the owner of the bakery. And I don't know if the owner of the bakery that Kiki's staying at, that she does her delivery service out of, is this guy's the husband. They never really mention it, but he's the buff guy that like lifts all the stuff in the bakery. That's the vibe of this person. It's so random. Some of you are like laughing your butt off right now. I can feel it. But it's that kind of vibe, right? It's like strong, tough, like good-natured kind of energy. I think when you get to know this person, though, they don't just seem like that kind of energy. They seem more so the fact of like, with this Pisces and sun energy, they're more, you see how much they light up from experiences and how much exploring and being jovial and being expansive helps them grow and shine and be bright and lovely on everyone, right? I think that gives them an inner glow when they're going to work, that people want to buy stuff from them, and it reflects positively on their career. Now, 9 usually makes me think of independence. We have 2 and 9 here. I think there's a reason why this person is coming across as, why it's just focused on them right now. Because I think even in the marriage, there is a vibe that your partner is really focused on their career. Like I said, take what resonates. If this pile's not resonating, this person doesn't feel right for you. And at the same time, you're feeling like you want a really, how do I put it, like dependent marriage where you and the other person are really tied down together, close like that. This person's not really like that. They're very independent. They're going to need a lot of space. I'm hearing if you're someone who needs a lot of space and you need a relationship where there's a lot of time apart, that kind of vibe, and it's like that's what's comfortable for you guys. This is the person, you're in the right pile, because I think this person, the universe is bringing you this person because they know that you want a connection where you can have a lot of space. You can have a lot of space away from your partner. I'm also hearing phone calls from this person, really intimate, beautiful phone calls and moments where they're not working and stuff like that. There is a possibility for some of you. I am seeing you joining this person in this career as a vendor, and maybe you working with them and you both traveling together and maybe having your own shop. That could be something coming through. I'm getting an image of a few people I know that are chefs that have food, like, I don't know if it's a food truck, but they have like their own menu, and they take their truck everywhere and they sell their food and stuff like that. And they have their own Instagram page and stuff like that. It's kind of screaming that kind of vibe, like traveling. Or maybe you guys make clothing or something like that. Or there's something about maybe even some of you watching, I'm hearing you make stuff, like you crochet, you sew, you make clothing, and your partner like sells it, something like that in the future with the marriage, something along those lines. Okay, we got to get to the tarot cards. Okay, so let's get the tarot cards out on the table for a little extra information. Hopefully it talks a little bit more about married life between both of you. Let's see, we have Four of Swords. Four of Swords. We also have the Chariot reversed. And we have Two of Swords upright. That's so funny. Okay, let me take a look at this and then I'll read what I see. Yeah, they seem so laid back when you first meet them. Your first impression of them, they seem so laid back. They're not that chatty. They're not that talkative. I'm getting the vibe of someone, a really relaxed, chill, muscular person that works as a vendor somewhere. They seem really relaxed and chill. They might smile at you when you first meet them, something like that. You can tell you're having a positive effect on them because they smile, something along those lines. I am seeing with the Chariot reversed here, they might be trying to save up to buy a car when you meet them. That might be a sign that this is your person. They might be trying to save up to buy a car, or there's something about you dreaming of traveling and them having the right mode of transportation to travel. It might be that you guys dream of traveling, honestly. That's coming through. And with Two of Swords here, there's something about when you finally decide to date this person before you get married, there's a shot in the dark kind of thing. It's like, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if making this commitment is the right thing, but I'm going to take a shot in the dark. I don't have enough information about this person, but they asked me out. They want to date me, and I don't know enough about them. And there's this feeling of going for it anyway, right? There's this feeling that you could deliberate. You could make a choice. You could wait it out. But there's something about a last minute decision and you choose to do it. So for example, I think this person goes on a trip, like maybe you're dating this person for a while and they let you know like, hey, I travel all over the world and I'm not going to be back for another year, something like that. There's something along the lines of they're going somewhere for a couple months and you're not going to see them and they invite you to go with, and I think you guys say yes. That's the vibe that I'm getting. It's like a shot in the dark. It's like I could weigh the pros and cons, and maybe you talk to a few people about it, but this person just, there's something about them that just makes you want to say yes. Like you feel good about the connection. You feel like you should go. And it really does feel like one of the things too with the Chariot in reverse, I think there's a living accommodations that are worth living. Like it's not like you're just like sleeping on straw and eating like rats for breakfast. Sorry, that's such a random analogy. Sorry, guys. That was random. But you're going to have like decent food, decent accommodations, like decent travel accommodations. Like it's not anything that's going to be super crazy uncomfortable, right? Like this person's like knows how to provide at least a modicum minimum amount of comfort. With Two of Swords here, this person's strong. Like they invite you. They're like, yeah, come with. To them, I will say it's not a big deal. It's still a big deal that they're inviting you, but they're also going out on a limb here. To them, it's also a shot in the dark, you know? Yeah, it's one of those things too, where this person's like, they're very chill. They're very laid back. They give the impression of like nonchalance. They give the impression of, yeah, no big deal. Like if you want to come with me, but there's more to it than that. That's the thing. For some of you, this person kind of invites you in kind of a casual way where they seem to have not really thought it through. And then for others of you, this is a big deal. You guys are like having this romantic 3-week thing or 2 or 3 week thing. And by the end of the week, they're like, I gotta go, but I want to keep doing this. Like, I feel really good about this. And I know I just met you, but I feel really good. And you being like, I feel really good too, but I don't know if I can travel with you like 2 months away right now. Like, there might be even a need for you to take like a couple weeks off work to make this work or whatnot. For some of you, I'm getting the message. Some of you are teachers, you work in the education system and you're on summer break, but you would have to get subs for like the first 2 weeks of school or something like that. Like, I don't know what the exact situation is, but there's something about having to make some kind of sacrifice to travel with them or something like that. But the thing is, I think you guys go for it. I think there was some other situation in your life where you missed out on an opportunity to go with someone somewhere or to do something, and you always regretted it. And I think this is giving you that same feeling again of like, you could, if you wanted to, you could. And then there's just this feeling with Dagas here of that first impression of feeling that goodness, that light within this person, that sense of like, I'm a being of light. I'm a light worker. I'm doing good in the world. I'm a good person. And you guys being like, I could debate this and this is a shot in the dark, but I'm just going to do it. And then it's so interesting. I see this is like the trip that bonds you two together. And by the end of this 2 months, you guys are like ready to, I don't know, maybe not marriage, but like definitely ready to start a commitment. You know, you're ready to commit to each other. And then I see this kind of like beautiful long distance thing, you know, like when you start your job back up or whatever the case may be, they can go on trips and not worry about you, and you don't have to worry about them because you guys have that relationship established. I'm also hearing you can always go with them whenever you want to, as far as like making money with them or going on a trip with them. And sometimes some of you might even work together in the same field. One of the ways you meet is when you maybe are looking at some of their supplies, like if they make jewelry or sell shirts or make, you know, I don't know, they could even be selling donuts. I don't know. You could also make donuts. You know, you could also be selling donuts, and you could also have that vibe of, wow, I make these and you make these and blah, blah, blah. And there could be a moment where you exchange recipes, you know, or you exchange tips of the trade, you know, and they follow your page and you follow their page. It's kind of the vibe of two traveling, kind of like bohemian artist types, like traveling the world and selling their goods. I'm getting like traveling salesman, like exactly how the reading started. I mean, that's a stereotype that, at least that type of personality that when I started the reading and the kind of persona I had at the beginning, that's not really their personality. I will be honest about that. It's just the archetype of what you know, they also are, but it's not really how they are, if that makes sense. Wow. Yeah, with the Pisces energy here, I'm starting to get a holistic picture of why this is you guys married together. The Pisces energy is you guys live in a kind of dream world with each other. It's like you have this ability to make the life you want, whatever you want, without boundaries or limitations. There's gonna be a lot of stuff in your life that is, like, I want to say ruleless. Like, there's not going to be a lot of regulations you guys are going to have to abide by. And even if you do have to abide by some, they're not going to feel limiting. Like, this relationship has a lot of freedom. And I feel like you are, in a way, both two extroverts that are kind of want to explore together. You both bond over this thirst to see the bigger picture, to see the world, to see different places, to explore. Both of you love people and love socializing. I will point this out. A lot of you in this group, you're either not jealous already, or you can be with a partner and not be jealous of them if they like check other people out or are interested in other people. I really do feel this connection is so freewheeling. This is such a freedom-focused energy is what I'm seeing for both of you. Some of you have been jealous in the past. This person doesn't make you jealous. This person is also the type of person who's like, hey, I met so-and-so, come meet them. It's not someone who's going to like hide away and keep secret lovers in the corner of their life, you know? That's not the vibe. It's just like a person who always wants to show you whoever they're with and whoever they're hanging out with. Whoever they meet, they're like, oh my gosh, you have to meet my wife. She's so cool. Or, oh my gosh, you have to meet my husband. He's so cool. And then it's this big hangout. So whenever you're traveling together after hours or when the shop closes down, there's this feeling of going out to dinner with people or hanging out with people and meeting new people, meeting new friends. And it's like, you guys are kind of like one person is the best way I can put it, as a couple. It's not really like you're two different people and you have two separate lifestyles and it was very, group 3 was kind of like this, where one person stayed at home mostly, and then the other one kind of was out socializing all the time. That was two different orientations towards life, but it still worked. They were really a solid couple. You guys just have a different vibration. It's not the same as their group, but you are together as one, and you travel as one, and you kind of do things together as one. And there might be times where you split up. There might be times where you have to do stuff at a particular home. And it's so funny because I see that for some of you, this person's really wealthy. For others of you, they're just like a street vendor and they just go to different festivals and stuff and pass out food. But for others of you, this person has like multiple homes all across the country. It's just wherever they go, they want you with them. They're like, hey, can you please come? And you're like, no, I got to stay here because so-and-so or whatever. And I see that you guys have a lot of different friends in all these different communities. It's not like you're ever alone. There's not a period where you're ever just sitting alone in a house by yourself. It feels like there's a very social connection, a very exploratory connection, very much a vibe of just seeing the world and seeing as much as there is possible to see. And that's where I'm going to let the reading be. Anyway, if you guys like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you want to see more readings like this, you can subscribe to my channel. With that said, I'll bid you adieu. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. If you want a personal reading or you are curious about a personalized question that you have that I maybe don't offer on my YouTube videos, you can purchase a personal reading. Link is in the description box. You can go to my Etsy. All the information is there. You might have to dig for it a little bit, but it's all there. And yeah, I bid you guys adieu. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. It was a lot of fun. You guys are going to have a fun marriage. It's one of the marriages where you're going to see the most. Out of all the couples today, you have the ability to see the most of the world and the most of life and have the most experiences. And you guys get to share those experiences together. That's kind of like, a lot of people have that dream, so you guys get to live it. So hopefully you are happy about that. Anyway, catch you guys in the next one. Bye.